Imagine, if you will, a country where something like, well, a simple birthday cake, or even just a mobile phone video, can apparently send shivers, real shivers, down the spine of the whole political system.
Sounds pretty dramatic, right? Today, we're doing a deep dive into a really fascinating article by Deepak Raj Joshi. It's called, which translates roughly to Cake, Camera, and Trembling Republic.
Mm-hmm.
And our mission here really is to explore Joshi's sharp critique. He argues the political system there is hypersensitive. So sensitive it sees threats in places you'd never expect. We'll unpack what these surprising threats are and maybe what they tell us about the system itself.
Yeah, it's quite something. What's really insightful, I think, is how the author uses these seemingly tiny incidents to point towards something much, much deeper about how things are governed, you know. It seems almost unbelievable, doesn't it? So the article starts with this cake incident. A citizen, Chakra Milan, is just celebrating a birthday. And Joshi writes that this somehow threatens social harmony. I mean, what insight is the author drawing from something that sounds, well, frankly absurd?
Right. And that's the core of his critique, you see.
Yeah.
He frames it with this rhetorical question. He asks, what was in that cake? Gunpowder, a bomb, poison. You know, he's really driving home the point about this state mechanism being just unnecessarily hypersensitive. And Joshi contrasts this reaction, this big fuss over a cake, with the real issues. Things like inflation, unemployment, medicine shortages, bad governance, stuff that actually impacts people's lives daily. But those, he argues, don't seem to disrupt social harmony in the same way.
It's a stark contrast. And the absurdity, it doesn't stop there, does it? Joshi then moves on to an equally, maybe even more revealing incident. This one involves a mobile camera. So the former King Gyanendra's grandson, Hriendra Shah, visits Jumla. That's a pretty remote area. And he's just using his phone camera, taking some pictures, videos, basically a small effort to promote tourism. How did the system react to that?
Well, the reaction was anything but small or calm. You had powerful figures, even a sitting member of parliament, immediately sounding the alarm. Claims that the Constitution was in crisis, that the Republic itself was shaking. They even called it a planned move. Planned move.
Wow, just for taking some video.
Just for taking some video. And the author, he pointedly asks, does the Republic tremble at a mobile camera? He suggests this is a system that, hits the panic button over a YouTube video.
Yeah.
But seems to show almost no sensitivity to the actual suffering of the public.
It really makes you question the system's priorities, doesn't it? And Joshi then widens his lens, looking at the broader values, or maybe lack thereof, within this system. He points out how satirists, people who just make people laugh, they get labeled controversial. But then you have leaders who spread false dreams, and they're hailed as, what? National pride.
Exactly. And it goes on. Youths trying to, just promote the country's beauty. They get monitored, watched. But then fraudulent contractors, MPs evading taxes. They seem to enjoy legal protection. Some even get awards.
That's quite the comparison.
It is. And it's not just about isolated incidents anymore. The author draws this really chilling conclusion about the system's values overall. He says, this is our current value system where humor is considered a threat and looting a tradition. Pretty strong words.
That's a very stark reflection indeed. And it leads Joshi to question, what has this republic actually achieved? He mentions a common saying, something like, if the king returns, the country will sink. But then he turns that around, doesn't he? He asks his own question.
He absolutely does. A critical question, really. He asks, but has the country risen without the king? And the article then lists 17 years of this republic have apparently brought things like half the population working abroad, young people looking for PR agents instead of, voting, essential services, education, health, security, becoming just talking points, speech topics, as he puts it.
So the argument is that the system is disconnected from the people it's supposed to serve.
That seems to be the core belief presented in the article, yes, that the soul of any republic should be its people. But here, the fear within the power structure seems much more significant than the actual suffering of the public outside it.
Right. So the kind of profound takeaway Joshi leaves us with is, well, it's a warning, isn't it? That a system so easily frightened, so rattled by just a cake or a mobile video, it basically reveals its own instability. It's like it's afraid of its own shadow.
Precisely. It's unstable and, as he puts it, maybe even soulless. And the implications he draws is that this kind of system ends up tolerating flattery, not criticism. It breeds suspicion, not reform. And ultimately, he suggests it risks collapsing, really, from its own internal fear.
So thinking about this deep dive into Deepak Raj Joshi's article, what does it mean for you listening in? I mean, if a system's foundation is seen as so fragile, so delicate, it quakes at these simple symbolic acts, a cake cutting, filming a landscape, what does that genuinely say about its real strength, about its future?
Yeah, and maybe a broader question emerges too. How do societies, any society, learn to tell the difference, between genuine threats and these perceived ones, especially when things like humor or just promoting your own culture get framed as dangerous?
Definitely something to consider as you navigate all the information swirling around out there.